So how many of you loved this episode? This is the penultimate episode. It's probably one of the best episodes of Sailor Moon Crystal in a while, though I would say the animation isn't that great in this episode, which is really weird seeing how the first, 9 episodes were fantastic with their animation. So for this episode, I'm going to discuss it through use of props, and I have 3 props which are pretty much going to discuss the 3 highlights of the episode. So the first highlight of the episode I thought was the double Rainbow Moon Heartache attack with Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon together. I have been looking forward to that attack ever since we saw Double Moon Princess Elation, and ever since I pretty much read about it in the original manga. So I was really happy to see that attack go. Yes, this is the toy of the Spiral Heart Moon Rod. It has the sound effects from the original anime, not from Sailor Moon Crystal. I'm not going to play them since Toei Animation likes to pretty much give me strikes on anything Sailor Moon related if there is no footage, but this is a toy, which I own, so no strikes. So I absolutely loved seeing Double Rainbow Moon Heartache go against Mistress 9. I have to say, Mistress 9 is a very creepy diamond or monster. I also love the fact that Mistress 9's true form is not Hotaru's body, and that her true form is that disgusting diamond. And because she absorbs so much power through the Silver Crystal, she essentially can't be defeated by Sailor Moon or the Sailor Guardians. Now, one thing that I think is a little interesting is Chibiusa attacked Mistress 9 in the previous episode, which weakened her a little bit. And I felt that because Chibiusa essentially gave her the power, that Chibiusa's magic should be able to cancel out the magic Mistress 9 absorbed. So, in essence, Sailor Moon has 2 silver crystals, so why would Mistress 9 be as strong or be stronger than Sailor Moon and Sailor Chibi Moon together when they have 2 silver crystals, both with the same power? But I absolutely loved seeing Double Rainbow Moon Heartache. I love seeing Chibi Moon and Moon, really push against Mistress 9. I thought that was a fantastic scene, and I think it was probably one of the coolest strikes the animes had. It was much better than the attack of Double Moon Princess Elation against the Death Phantom in Act 26. What I mean by that is Double Moon Princess Elation, essentially, it hit the Death Phantom. They kind of went, for 2 seconds, and then the planet blew up. Here, Mistress 9 survived, and then we also got to see Double Moon Princess Elation twice, which again was fantastic. And we also got to see the awesome attacks from the inners as well, which I have to admit, their animation is so great, and I love the throwback to the 90s here. So I really did love seeing all of the attacks, and they failed. So Chibi Moon and Usagi, Chibi Moon and Super Sailor Moon, their attack weakened Mistress 9. She falls into Pharaoh 90 and she merges with him. And that's really, really a creepy idea that now Hotaru's body is kind of Mistress 9, but also Mistress 9's her own form, which is another question I kind of have, which maybe one of you can discuss in the comments with me. And the question is, and we'll talk about it a bit more when Saturn awakens, when Mistress 9 is in Pharaoh 90 and the talismans react and Saturn awakens, Mistress 9 / Hotaru's former body glows, but I figured Hotaru's body was destroyed, but I guess because somehow there's little bits and pieces of it left, that's why her body grew and I guess was reformed back into Sailor Saturn. I could be wrong. I thought it looked visually stunning. I just was a little concerned or confused as to why that happened. So Mistress 9 merges with Pharaoh 90, and Sailor Moon's like, we have to strike the mass that is Pharaoh 90, and they do. They use their attacks. Like I said, we get to see Double Rainbow Moon Heartache again, which was awesome. I love the fact we got to see it twice. I don't think we get to see any of the other double attacks in the manga more than once, so I'm glad that Crystal gave us that here twice. And like I said, we got to see the other attacks. We got to see Mamoru do Tuxedo Lust Smoking Bomber, which is nice for a character who essentially is useless in this anime to have a nice role, at least for a moment. Their attacks don't work, and they pass out. And I actually really love the fact, they're holding their hands up and you see the streams of energy emerge from their hands and they all pass out. And I love how Jupiter is sort of the strongest Sailor Soldier next to Sailor Moon. And Jupiter is the one to pass out last. Well, Chibi Moon, because she is essentially younger, even though she is 900, but she's smaller, she is the first to go. And Tuxedo Mask is able to keep up his strength as well, but he stops his strike to protect Chibi Moon. But I also love the fact that all 7 of them attack Pharaoh 90 at once. Pharaoh 90 is a really interesting character here because what he says is crazy because he's like this disgusting blob, but he doesn't have a physical form, and he's all about vesselizing. Not even a word, vesselizing. I'm not even sure. He's all about combining with the Earth and making the Tau system, the Earth become new Tau system, which is a weird thing to say because technically the Earth is a planet in the galaxy, so we technically would want the galaxy to become the solar system galaxy to become the Tau system. It's a weird combination, but I would admit I liked how Mercury, when she looks up at the sky and she sees the Tau system, and she thinks back to the episode when she talked to Very Root, I believe. Also, a funny thing I want to note is when the inners essentially passed out, Neptune was the only one that just kind of said, hang in there. Well, Jupiter went Venus, and Pluto, I believe, went Jupiter. I thought it was kind of funny that Mars and Mercury get no recognition from Neptune. Obviously, it was just easier for Neptune to say, hang in there, but I just thought that was sort of a funny thing. So, what's the next big thing that happens after their attacks fail and they realize they're in a big jam? Well, Sailor Moon decides to unleash the power of the Holy Grail and the silver crystal within Pharaoh 90. And what happens is she dives in, and Chibiusa's scream when she does that was awesome. I love when anime characters really get into or anime voice actors really get into character, and I feel that they do a lot of the time. And Chibiusa's voice actor, when she screamed "Mom," was fantastic. One thing I don't really ever talk about in these Sailor Moon Crystal reviews is I do find the voice acting of all the seiyus very much on top or on level with the original voice actors from the 90s. So I really, really do enjoy their voices quite a bit because I really feel that they are giving a top-notch performance. Even if the animation sometimes sucks, it's always nice to hear their voices because I do think they do a very nice job. So Sailor Moon jumps into Pharaoh 90. She talks about how she will unleash the power of the silver crystal within Pharaoh 90, but at the same time she's talking about how she's always been protected and always been watched over, and now it's her turn to do the protecting. I also love the scene when the moonlight appears and it essentially makes Sailor Moon think what I just said, and then she dives in. So that was a very beautiful scene, a beautiful sacrifice. Now, I guess I didn't realize it till earlier in the day when I was watching the episode. I didn't realize that Sailor Moon jumps into Pharaoh 90 twice. And what I mean by that is she dives into Pharaoh 90 in the manga, technically 3 times. She dives into Pharaoh 90 in the manga, she dives into Pharaoh 90 in the original anime, and she dives into Pharaoh 90 in Crystal. Now, when she dives into Pharaoh 90 in Crystal in the manga, she doesn't defeat him. She goes in, I believe that she actually holds her Spiral Heart Moonrod and casts Rainbow Moon Heartache to help defeat Pharaoh 90 with Sailor Saturn. Sailor Saturn in the original anime is within Pharaoh 92. And technically Mistress 9 is in there, in the Crystal in the manga. So I think it's interesting that the 90s anime did let Sailor Moon go into Pharaoh 90, but Saturn was also in there. I just think it's a funny way to... It's funny to me that Sailor Moon in all 3 versions just goes into Pharaoh 90. It's just a very odd way to defeat a villain. But I guess what better way to defeat the villain than blowing it up from the inside? But clearly here we don't know what's happening to Sailor Moon like we did in the 90s anime. Obviously we didn't see what was happening, but we did see all those little explosions that appeared. And those explosions then blew up Pharaoh 90. Then we saw the moonlight appear after that. So here it was the moonlight appeared, Sailor Moon jumped in. We have no idea what happened. Pharaoh 90 barely even reacted to getting Sailor Moon's power. Now you would think he would kind of pull a Mistress 9 and be like, power, power, and just try to suck it all in. But Sailor Moon is probably somehow using her magic to unlock the power of the crystal and the Grail. And the Grail has, I believe, Chibiusa's power, because she did say 9 Sailor Soldiers. So the Grail has Chibiusa's power, it has the power of the 3 outers, not Saturn, and it has the power of the 4 inners, and possibly herself. So she has a lot of power with her. She has the limitless silver crystal. She is technically the powerful energy. I don't want to call the Sailor Soldiers limitless magic, because we saw today that their powers are clearly not limitless. And she will obviously try to unleash that. So it essentially doesn't work. And they're wondering what's happening. Now, a quick little critique I have is Sailor Pluto, Guardian of Time, doesn't know that Sailor Moon's not dead, because everyone's like, she's gone, she's gone. Why would you do that, Usa? Why? Doshite, Usa, do, Usagi, Mama, Super Sailor Moon, why? And it's kind of like, Chibi Moon's right there. Like, she is right there next to Mamoru on his left side. And you're like, she's dead. Because guess what? If she was dead, Chibiusa would poof. And no one notices that. I just found that hysterical. But clearly, they're all in mourning over Sailor Moon. And because the time has come for destruction, the 3 talismans awaken and Sailor Saturn arises. I have the whole scythe, but or the glaive. It's just it's in this room, and it comes apart, and I just didn't want to pull it all out. So yeah, so Sailor Saturn awakens, And her scene awakening was really cool. The only thing about her awakening I didn't like was the music, but I'm going to talk about the music very briefly at the end of this episode. And this review's already gone on for over 10 minutes, so we're already almost halfway. My review is almost as long as half an episode. So Saturn awakens. The scene when she awakens is really cool. There was a very noticeable animation glitch. When she poses, the pure heart crystal thing is gone from her brooch, which I thought was annoying because like the crystal is like Saturn's thing. It's like what she's known for next to holding this big ass glaive. So she awakens. She says, "I'm the sailor soldier of death and destruction." Her voice actor, again, like I said, the other voice actors have been doing a great job. She says it coldly. She doesn't give a shit, and she's just like, "I'm gonna defeat Fahrenheit." Now, I'm not sure if she says "Death in Reborn Revolution" or "Death in Ribbon Revolution." The subtitles on Hulu and Crunchyroll both said "Ribbon." Well, a lot of YouTube videos are saying "Reborn," so I'm not sure technically which attack name it was called. I believe in the manga it is "Reborn," so I think there might be a little mistranslation there. But Pharaoh 90 is screaming in agony over the power. Sailor Moon is inside Pharaoh 90, and she's not feeling anything, but we don't even know what's happening to Sailor Moon. And Saturn is pretty much about to drop the glaive, and everyone is looking at her. Uranus goes, "Saturn, no!" Which I actually really like. That was not in the manga, so that was a really nice thing to see Uranus somehow interact with Saturn, even minorly. And I also love the scene when they all just are watching Saturn appear and Saturn doing her job. It makes me wonder just how strong Sailor Saturn is now. I know because Sailor Moon has the silver crystal, and I have to say, why in Sailor Moon Crystal do they always have to say legendary silver crystal? Wouldn't it just be easier to say Ginzusho instead, or silver crystal, as opposed to Maboroshi no Ginzusho? It's so much longer. It feels a little redundant at some points. And also, sorry for my horrible Japanese there. So, Saturn's about to drop the glaive. Pharaoh 90 is like, "Is this the light of destruction that I've seen in all these dreams and whatnot?" And it is. This is the light of destruction. This is what is going to own your ass, Pharaoh 90. Also, another fun thing I want to say is, I love how all of them call him Master Pharaoh 90, not Pharaoh 90. I feel like Master shows respect, but maybe because they don't know a lot of English, they don't know that Master's showing respect and that's just his name. But I was like, call him Pharaoh 90 like you did in the 90s NBA. Like, I liked that, because this way you're not being like, "Oh, he's the master," because guess what? He's gonna die. So I absolutely love the scene when Sailor Saturn is about to drop the glaive, and Chibiusa is like, "Crap, we're all going to die. I don't want to die. I have a future. Is there no future?" And everyone is just waiting for the world to end, and then it ends, and it was a beautiful episode. So overall, I thought the episode was beautiful. Oh, what I didn't talk about. Music. I felt the music in this episode, even though it was good, I love the soundtrack for Sailor Moon Crystal, was very, very repetitive. I really wish we got some new tracks. I just felt that they reused so many songs from last week's episode that it kind of lost its luster. I feel like new songs, or the songs used last week, should have been held for this week, if you know what I mean. I just feel that some of the music was, just didn't, it fit. Excuse me, I almost just dropped the glaive. It fit, but at the same time, it was just a little boring, and I wish there was something newer. Anyway, I love this episode. So happy to see all 10 Sailor Soldiers in one episode. Unfortunately, Sailor Moon is inside the mask that is Pharaoh 90, so she isn't on the scene yet, but she will be back soon next week. We will discuss the final episode next week. If you guys want to send me your reviews, I'll read them off in the final episode. You can just leave the comment of your review for episode 39, technically Act 38, here, or email, tweet them to me. You can want to add me on Snapchat, snap them to me, I'll save it, and I'll read them next week for the final act. I want to do something a little bit bigger for the final review. And also, if you haven't checked out my new channel, please subscribe to R&J Reviews, because I do post a lot more videos there than I'm posting here right now, because I'm just trying to keep this channel safe. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning into my review of the episode. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I loved it. The only thing I really didn't care for was the music, and I thought the animation style was a little funky at some points, but overall, I think with plot, it was absolutely fantastic, and we finally got to see the Sailor Soldier that is Saturn return. Alright guys, share your thoughts about this episode in the comments below. I love talking with you. I really hope you enjoyed this longer review, because I enjoyed talking about Sailor Moon for a long time with you guys. Alright, bye.